Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Corinne. Today we're going to be talking about the side effects of acupuncture, things to expect and things that are serious and that should not happen and hopefully don't happen to you if you get acupuncture. A little bit about me. My name is Corinne. I am a licensed acupuncturist and healer for the past 12 years. I have a private practice in Lafayette, California, which is in the East Bay of San Francisco. And I also have an amazing download on how to naturally remove frown lines, which are the 11s, and the link is in the bio. So make sure that you snag the free ebook and subscribe to the channel. So let's get into it. So first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about how acupuncture works. So acupuncture is an energy medicine, and it's all about flowing energy from one place to the other, and we call it qi. And I like to compare acupuncture meridians and acupuncture treatments to a river, because a river moves from point A to point B where it enters into the sea or into the ocean. And if there are rocks and all sorts of obstructions into the river then has to deviate and move in a different direction. Worst comes to worst, the river is blocked somehow, and that creates stagnant water. So you know what happens with stagnant water. It attracts mosquitoes, disease, and it overall becomes undrinkable and uninhabitable for the fishes and the other things that live in the river. So this is kind of what happens in the body. We want to make sure that things are flowing from one place to the other, that energy is not getting stuck anywhere. Because when you have a stuckness in the body, which means that could result in tightness, tension, it could create pain, it could create disease. That means there's not enough blood or oxygen going to that area. So acupuncture helps to relax the muscles, allowing more blood flow, allowing more oxygen to get to that point. And because acupuncture points are on the fascia, which is connective tissues of the body, it helps energy move from one place to the next, because we are bioelectric, which means our body generates electricity. And with acupuncture needles, because they're metal, they're a conductor of heat and electricity, which is why acupuncture needles are metal, because it helps to move the electricity in our body. So that's a little sum of what acupuncture is and how it works. So one of the side effects of acupuncture is bruising. So if you are going to a practitioner that doesn't have the best needle technique, and even the ones that do, like myself, bruising can happen. So a bruise around the acupuncture point could look like a normal bruise that you've experienced. There could be a tiny bit of swelling, but this usually dissipates within a few days. So it's not something that's permanent. For those that bruise easily, especially with older people that have thinner skin, tend to bruise easily. Those that just bruise easily because that's how they are, they may notice more bruising. But in general, it's most people don't bruise, but that is a side effect of getting acupuncture. The second thing is hitting a nerve, which is really about improper technique on the acupuncturist part. However, it could happen, especially around the wrists, because there are some nerves that are very close to the skin. So that is one of the things that sadly happens with improper technique, is you hit a nerve. And it's a very nervy feeling. Most people can feel it when an acupuncturist hits the nerve. You know, if it's very quick, you can take out the needle, it usually goes away. If the acupuncturist does a lot of stimulation, it could have an effect on the nerve that lasts for a few hours. So again, make sure that you go to a practitioner that is experienced, that is well trained. And the third side effect that can happen, that's actually a serious side effect, is pneumothorax, which means a puncturing of the lung. So that really only happens, again, with improper needle technique. If the client is very thin, very frail, anorexic, those kinds of people that have thin skin, bones, if you're needling along the back, you want to needle at a 45-degree angle. If you're going straight perpendicular, you can hit the lung. So usually, again, we are trained a lot. It's a 4-year program to become an acupuncturist. So in general, Most acupuncturists, it's like the number one thing that we learn is how to needle, where to needle, the direction, the depth, the angle. All of these things are taught in school, so it rarely happens. But again, that is the biggest side effect, is puncturing the lung with acupuncture. I've never done it. I don't know anyone that has, but it's in our books when we learn it, and that's one of the biggest things that they teach us when we're in acupuncture school. So those are the three major physical things that can happen with needling. And me, myself, a little side note, I actually don't like needles. And people think this is kind of funny because I'm an acupuncturist, but I'll tell you why. So I had a cyst in my ovary when I was 24, which is why I became an acupuncturist, is because at the time I was told that I was going to need surgery. And I was more afraid of surgery than I was of acupuncture at the time. So I decided to get acupuncture. And even though I was afraid of needles, I kind of just did it. And I trusted the practitioner that I was with. And within 2 months, my cyst went away and my really painful menstrual cramps went away, or at least lessened to a very significant degree. And I was hooked ever since. And because I have such a strong adverse reaction to most needles, I am a really gentle practitioner. I use the thinnest needles in the market that are either from Japan or Korea because they make the least painful needles, especially the Japanese. I do a Japanese style of acupuncture, which is also with the least amount of pain, and that's how they structured their style of acupuncture. So if you're someone that's like me, that's needle adverse, and you really want to try acupuncture, make sure that you look for a practitioner that is doing Japanese style and potentially Korean. But a traditional Chinese medicine usually tends to be a bit more painful depending on the practitioner, the needle that they use, etc. But really, acupuncture is an art form. It's really the practitioner, how they needle, their gifts with the technique. So if you go to an acupuncturist and you find that it was too painful and it was a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, you may want to look for either a Japanese 5-element. There's a lot of different forms, but I know for sure the Japanese are the most gentle style. So there you go. And that's why I'm a Japanese style acupuncturist, because I don't like pain. I don't like to inflict pain. And I find it to be the most gentle out there in the market, especially their needles. So one of the best things about acupuncture, I should say, are the amazing side effects that you don't really recognize. And one of the other things I wanted to mention before I get into that are the concerns. So one of the concerns people have with acupuncture is the pain. So going back to the needling conversation, you want to make sure that you find an acupuncturist that has a style that's least painful, like the Japanese style. However, if you are in pain, right? If you are feeling any kind of musculoskeletal pain, acupuncture is going to be more painful regardless of the practitioner, mostly because your nervous system is activated, your body's more tense, so it tends to be a little bit more painful than usual. But that is usually very temporary because acupuncture is really effective for pain. So it's one of these things where if you can push past it, it's amazing for pain, which is why insurance covers it. Most Western medicine doctors will refer to acupuncturists for pain. That's actually what we're known most for, is treating and alleviating pain. And the second thing that people are concerned about, which I always kind of giggle because I think it's funny, but it's a concern that people talk about, so I want to address it, is can I roll off the bed? The massage table is considered the bed. No, you won't fall or roll over. I've never, ever experienced a client rolling off the massage table. I don't know of a practitioner that has experienced that. I'm sure maybe somewhere in the world that has happened, but it's such a rarity that it's not a concern. The body's highly intelligent, so when you're in the acupuncture room on the bed, needles are in, but you don't roll off because you're kind of like, okay, I'm asleep, you're in a meditative state, but it's really relaxing. It's one of the most relaxing treatments out there is getting an acupuncture session. It really does wonders on calming your nervous system so you don't roll over. And another concern is, can I move with the needles in? You can. I mean, I don't want anyone to ever feel trapped because you do have needles in your body. So some people that, especially those that are suffer from anxiety, feel trapped. So I'm here to tell you that you can move with acupuncture needle. The only issue is that you're gonna create some kind of pinching and some kind of ouchy kind of moments, because especially the needles that are in between tendons, like the ones in the forearm. So if you move your hand, you'll notice that the bones twist side to side. So if a needle's in between, it's not going to be comfortable. So if you are a person that is fidgety, you're nervous, you're anxious, but you want to try acupuncture, make sure that you communicate with your practitioner and you tell them, hey, I'm really anxious. I need to have a little bit movement. And you just let them know. So often with my clients, if I know that they're fidgety or anxious, I make sure they have one arm that's free of needles, so that if they need to move, they have that. Or just making sure that they have some level of freedom somewhere, so if something were to happen, they can feel comfortable. So that's really important, giving people that space to know, okay, I'm not stuck on this table with needles inside of me, I can actually move. So those are the two concerns that most people talk about with acupuncture, concerning that they're gonna fall off the table, and let me assure you, it doesn't happen. So if you have any concerns or questions or anything about needles or any of those kinds of things, please feel free to comment below, DM me, send me a message. I'd love to answer any of your questions or any of your concerns to help alleviate any issues, so that you can feel free to get your acupuncture session. Okay, so the next thing are the unexpected benefits. And this is my favorite part, because a lot of times people come to see me for a specific thing. Most people go into acupuncturist for a specific health concern, etc. So one time I had this male client that came to see me because he and his wife were trying to get pregnant, and he was diagnosed of having a low sperm count. So acupuncture can indeed help men that have low sperm count, and it helps fertility for male and female. And I also do that. But in any case, if you are out there and you have a low sperm count, try acupuncture. But in this case, he was very like, I'm here for this. And I'm like, okay. And I go through my health history. He says, digestion's okay, sleep's okay. He says everything's okay. Fine. I do the treatment. Within after 3 to 4 sessions, he then tells me, oh, great, my migraines went away. And I'm like, wait, you had migraines? And he was telling me he had migraines like weekly. And ever since he started acupuncture, the migraines went away. So that is one of the side effects of getting acupuncture. Because it's a holistic medicine, we're not just treating one thing, we're treating the whole body. So even if you don't mention this health concern, it could still be treated. That's what I love about it. It's really magical in that way, where it really treats the body and as a holistic being. So even the things that you don't necessarily communicate can still be treated. Those underlying niggling health issues that you've had for years, like this weird twitch here, your ankles feel weird here, you can't sleep in this weird position, whatever. Like these really niggling health concerns that are not big enough for you to really go to the doctor to talk about. They're just something that kind of annoys you, that's there, and after a while you just kind of forget about it, and you just kind of settle and just deal with it. Those are the things that acupuncture really excels at. So make sure when you go see your acupuncturist, tell them everything. Just even if it's weird, like I have this weird itch at the back of my neck, or this finger twitches, whatever it is, it's great to communicate that and just be like, hey, if you have any needle for that, just let me know. And I mean, you'll never know. It can really, really help all health concerns. And so another client I had came for me for facial rejuvenation. We were helping her reduce fine lines and wrinkles, which is another service I provide. And she didn't tell me at the time that she was having hot flashes. She's perimenopause. And we were treating her within half the treatment cycle, because with initial facial acupuncture clients, I like them to do 3 months so we can really get the skin going and flowing and reduce those lines. And after about 6 or 7 sessions, she was like, my hot flashes are gone. And I was like, oh, wow. We didn't really talk about it too much. So I was excited that they were gone, and they have been gone ever since. So that's amazing, right? You come in, you look good, and now you don't have hot flashes. I think it's a win-win for everybody. So that's really exciting. So those are the things that acupuncture can treat. It's a lot of these underlying conditions. So it's not just what you talk about with your acupuncturist. A lot of the times we're also treating the body. We're palpating different points. We're looking at the pulse. We're looking at your tongue. We're looking at your skin. All of these things that we learn in school and observation that you may not even know about, but we can tell what's happening in your body sometimes before you can. So it's really important to find a practitioner that's good at what they do, but also can help navigate your health journey. So when is acupuncture not recommended? So acupuncture is not recommended if you have a blood disorder. So that is kind of one of the things that I would be very wary of using acupuncture needles. However, there are other things that you can do utilizing acupuncture meridians. You could use acupressure. You can use essential oils. You can use light therapy, magnet therapy. There's a lot of different modalities that use acupuncture meridians and energy flow without puncturing the skin. So I would be a little bit more concerned if they had a true bleeding disorder about not puncturing the skin with acupuncture needles. And another thing that people wonder about is, can you get acupuncture when you're pregnant? Absolutely, 100%. I treat pregnant women all the time. I've been doing it for years. Acupuncture is wonderful if you're pregnant because most of the time you cannot take any medication when you're pregnant. So acupuncture really helps, especially the first trimester with morning sickness, any kind of digestive issue that comes along. Also, it helps with sciatic pain, any kind of swelling towards the end. And it also is wonderful to help your body prepare for the birthing process. It also is amazing for postpartum, helping you treat your C-section repair if you had a C-section. It also could help with postpartum depression. It helps with milk production. It helps with overall aches and pains with carrying the baby, the wrist pains that can happen. So acupuncture is amazing. I mean, it's one of the most comprehensive, holistic medical systems that exist in the world. And so I definitely recommend it for almost anything, but in particular in situations where you can't go the Western route, acupuncture during those moments is key. And if you'd like to book a session with me, my scheduling link is in the bio below. I work in Lafayette, California, so if you're in the Bay Area, please feel free to book a session. If you are curious about acupuncture and you want to learn more, please feel free to DM me or email me, and I'm happy to answer your questions. So that's about all of those things, unexpected side effects. I think I mentioned everything that I need to mention, but if you have more questions about potential side effects of acupuncture or how acupuncture can help you, make sure that you comment below. And you can always DM me with your questions. And I look forward to sharing more videos on acupuncture and healing. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, Karina. We are all about joyful aging and how you can live your authentic, beautiful selves. I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you.